Hello, I'm Marcel Neville. Time now for Sunday House Call.
And I'm Eric Sean. Welcome as always. Joining us is Dr. Marc Siegel. He's now at the Invictus Games in Orlando, Florida, where wounded veterans are competing and being honored. Dr. Siegel, you know, is professor of medicine at NYU's Langland Medical Center and the author of The Inner Pulse, Unlocking the Secret Code of Sickness and Health.
And Dr. David Samadi, who is joining us from San Diego, site of the largest urological conference in the U.S., chairman and professor of urology. Dr. Samadi is at Lenox Hill Hospital, and he is also the chief of robotic surgery. Good to see you both. Docs, we're jealous that you're in warm weather and we're not.
Orlando and San Diego. Right.
Good to see you.
Good to see
Great to see you.
Thank you. Well, the opening ceremony of the Invictus Games begins tonight at Disney's World Champion Field. The international event, founded by Britain's Prince Harry, raises awareness about wounded service members. But while this event is about the spirit of competition, President George W. Bush says it's about something much more important.
There's also a greater cause, and that is to say vets who have served in the Afghan or Iraq theater and who've come back with a invisible war wound should know that there's help available.
Very heavy on the president's mind. So, Dr. Siegel, tell us more about what's happening there.
Arthel, Invictus means unconquered, and there's a lot of courage involved down here. And it's based on a poem by Henley in the 1800s that says, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, I am." And those words, "I am," are inspiring people here to take their disability and overcome their disability. If they lost a leg, maybe they do some sport that they used to do before they lost their leg. I interviewed one sergeant who actually had lost his leg, and he's going back into special forces now. He's competing with the help of a service dog. I interviewed another petty officer named Mike, who actually had broken his neck, Arthel, literally, and he had spinal cord injury. He's now made it to the finals in swimming, and guess what? He's made it to the finals in the area where he's competing with people that are not spinal cord injured.
Wonderful.
He's so inspired to compete and to be part of a team.
So wonderful.
Well, doctor, what does it mean to them? And you've met tell us some of the stories of some of the wounded warriors that you have met who are there competing today.
Well, Eric, there's another one, another wounded warrior I met who tragically had fallen, and he's paralyzed from the neck down, but he rides a bicycle with his hands only. He was a big cyclist, and he got injured falling off a bike. So it's literally that old story, getting back on the bike. And they told me, look, first they compete with each other, try to beat each other. People from around the world, soldiers from all other countries. 14 countries are represented. Many of them were the countries that were in the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. But it's not just competition. In the end, they all hug and they rejoice no matter who wins. So it's a combination of competition and then teamwork and mutual love. That helps them to overcome the invisible wounds of war, which is what we're talking about today at the conference.
That is just
wounds that you can't see.
Yeah, that is so special and so deeply meaningful.
So deeply meaningful, so very much important. And Dr. Samadi, bringing you into this conversation, I think you can tell us more about the effects of some of those hidden wounds that Dr. Siegel just mentioned.
Arthur, number one, I want to congratulate Prince Harry for really bringing this to the surface. This has been going on for about 3 years, and this year obviously is in Orlando, but next year is going to be in Toronto. This is a very strong message to the terrorists out there that we're not going to stop, and our wounded warriors are going to succeed, and they're going to continue to do what they were doing. So on psychological basis, this mission will continue to succeed. As you know, there's about 320,000 men and women out there who are suffering from traumatic brain injury. We have about 400,000 post-traumatic stress disorder soldiers out there. Yes, we can take care of the physical and the actual visible scars. If they are losing their limbs, we have robotic arms. If they are losing their arms and legs, we have a lot of physical therapy and rehab. And we also have a lot of social services for the families. But what we're talking about is the psychological impact that this post-traumatic stress disorder has on the families. Number one, it's not a disorder. The negative stigma of this disease has to go away. This is a normal reaction to any kind of trauma. So when they come back, recognizing that they're having some of the flashback, reliving those experiences, you know, being socially handicapped and not wanting to be around their friends and families, the sooner we recognize that, Arthel, the better we can treat it, whether it's going to be with medications, antidepressants, or exposure therapy, and slowly taking care of the fear from them. Then they can go on and do what Marc just presented. They can play their volleyball and basketball in a wheelchair. And we're sending a strong message to the people out there that we are strong and we're not going to be defeated. And this is really, you know, should be congratulated.
Absolutely.
Dr. Siegel, quick question, if I can pick that up. What would you say to a wounded warrior or a veteran or a family member who's watching right now? They're not down there with you in Orlando. They're not involved and haven't been involved, even though you have foundations like Semper Fi and others, Wounded Warriors, who help them. What would you say to them if they're sitting right now on the couch looking at this, to go get help, to be involved, and to be part of the community and our socially involvement again?
Absolutely great point, Eric. You know, I would tell people out there, veterans out there, grouping up is really, really important, and great research is going on now in the invisible wounds of war. The key thing is to get past the stigma. Don't be embarrassed if you're not sleeping at night. Don't be embarrassed if you're not feeling pleasure. Don't be embarrassed if you feel anxious or you can't focus. You may be one of the undiagnosed. Get help. Get to a physician who specializes in this, and ask your brethren that have served in the military with you. And another thing, if you do adaptive sports, it will help you to overcome. It's therapeutic.
And Dr. Samadi, quick thought from you. You're there in San Diego, a great military town that really embraces our military personnel.
Arthel, you know, I think like the message that we're hearing from Orlando is that the same way that these guys were combating as a team, the same way that bullets were coming to them, they're going to get together and team up and support each other. And that family support, and also the role of physicians in giving back. These are our heroes. When they come to the shore, it's our time, our physician and psychotherapists to really take care of them. So this is really a great moment, and we're going to make them feel better.
Thank you. Very good. Great points, Doc. Stick around because we have more to come here.
Such a great game. The game started at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll be following it here on the Fox News channel.